to log back on.
Okay.
You want me to keep it recording?
Huh?
It's recording now.
Yeah, we'll start.
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining. Today is Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, Irvine International Academy Board Meeting. The 6 p.m. regular scheduled meeting officially starting at 6:03. We're located at 4782 Karen Ann Lane, Irvine, California 92604. We may have a board member dialing in from teleconference location apartment 2C, Chuye, Shibaha, South Road, number 3, Chaoyang, Beijing, China. We'll be sure to identify them if they do call in. Okay, we'll start with,
Miller is here,
okay,
just jumped on.
okay, thank you. So we'll start with roll call. Molly,
Present.
thank you. Felipe,
Present.
thank you. I'm present. Brett, David. Absent. Miller,
Yes, present.
and you are at the teleconference location that I referenced earlier.
Yes.
Okay, moving to the next item, approval of the agenda for the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors on February 25th, 2025. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors. Today, is there a motion? Thank you, Molly.
Second. Yeah.
Thank you, Miller. I will do a roll call vote. Molly,
Yes.
Felipe,
Yes.
I'm a yes. David is not present. Miller?
Yes.
You. Okay, moving to the next item, community input on closed session agenda items. Are there any public comments?
They're not.
Okay, next item, closed session for discussion and possible action. 2 items to be discussed, public employee performance evaluation, executive director, and conference with real property negotiators, negotiated for IAA and the property to be discussed. We suspect it will take about
About 30 minutes.
30 minutes,
45
and we'll reconvene at that time. Okay, thank you for everyone's patience. We're reconvening at 7:01 p.m. Just update on our closed session, discussed 2 items. One, the public employee performance evaluation, just general discussion on that related to our executive director. 2 is the conference with real property negotiators. So just a general discussion, and we will be voting related to item F here later on in the meeting. Okay, so next is the very important flag salute. Is there anyone who would like to volunteer?
I volunteer.
All right, can you please?
Please stand. Flags over there. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Okay, next is community input on agendized items. Public may comment on items listed on the agenda, including the consent calendar, presentation, discussion, committee, and action items. We would like to request that you keep your comments within 3 minutes, which we will time. Do we have any public comments?
We have one. Are there any other? I have Adam.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Did you have a?
That's what I gave you.
Okay, this one's, oh, it's right in front of me. Okay, we'll start with Adam Brody.
Like to stay right here?
You can stand up if you'd like,
Or take mine? I'll take.
and there's actually a mic right there, yeah.
And I'll set the timer here, so just let me know whenever you're ready.
All right, thank you so much for having me. Just want to start off by saying thank you to the board. You guys believed in me. 3.5 years ago, I came here with our RFP and presented, and it's been an absolute honor to be running the after-school program. I'm Adam Brody, president of Strategic Kids. I'm the founder of the company. We're a local business located in Laguna Hills, California. I'm a former foster youth, so I started Strategic Kids to truly help kids and make a difference and to impact the community in a big way. We do that through enrichment like chess, Lego, origami, cartooning, our Mash to the Field sports program, and then running full aftercare programs like we do here at IIA. I really want to appeal for an opportunity to be able to continue our program. We really love being here. We have an amazing group of teachers. We've actually saved the school over $400,000 over the last 2 years. Dr. Bean met with us last year, mid-year, and was shared with me that funding for ELOP was due to previous year funding. And because of that, they had a big budget cut there. We actually just waived the cost and cut our price in half last year. And we've kept that pricing this year. We're only charging $8 per kid per day. And I've also personally donated over $5,000 towards scholarships to kids here at this school because we really, really care. We really want to make a difference. We truly are in this to help kids. I will be able to match the pricing or beat the pricing of whatever program you have. And we'll be able to get the licensing. I actually hired somebody a month and a half ago or a couple weeks ago to get the licensing for us. She's licensed over 50 schools and she's excited to help us through that process. And we'll be able to keep the team we have here who's super passionate about helping kids, as am I. We truly are here to support kids and help kids. We're enrichment, not daycare. That's what makes us different than the YMCA and other programs is that they get chess, Lego, cartooning, origami, all included in the program, the homework help. And it's really here to help kids. So if there's any way, maybe you could give us 1 month to prove that we're the better program. I would love an opportunity to do that. I'd love to meet with you guys. I haven't gotten a formal meeting to try to look at how we could compare to other proposals, but I can definitely beat their pricing and I'll include a lot more than they include and give you the continuity of staff. As a former foster youth, I know how important it is to have kids consistency and kids to have consistent adults in their lives, and we want to be those consistent adults. So thank you. I really hope for the opportunity. We'll make this the best program possible. We're here to serve. I'm
然后我们的前总理
here to answer any
出来
questions.
了，就说我们加拿大人啊。
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have one other one, Jenny. Yes.
3 minutes and I'll start whenever you're ready.
Can I start? So those who know me, I have 2 roles here. First, I'm parents of Benjamin 5A. So those of you maybe met him because last Chinese contest, he got first place 5-8. So that's the first time when he met everyone here. And he's so happy to be here. Even though he just moved here last August. And he just get know the kids here, the teachers here. He feel so happy to be here. And this is my first role as a parent. My second role is here. This is my 3rd year work assistant IIA as after school program teacher. So I was here teach 1st grade and help them do the Mandarin, English, and math homework. And I watch them to do our Lego, chess, and magic, and also origami ever enrichment. So I know them well. Some of parents, maybe they know me because I stay here the 3rd year, and I feel we're doing good job. But the reason I came here because I just noticed the after school program, YMCA potential, I don't know, through the announcement you post on the parents group chat. So I was shocked because there's no reason, I don't know why you change a strategic kids to YMCA. If somebody follow IIA about 3 years and they do really good job, and parents and the student, I 100% confident that they like us. And also I get some feedback from the teacher and school teacher here, and they said there's no negative comment from us. Maybe some, but not many. But what's the reason you guys changed the company who follow you about 3 years? They know your kids. We have really great team. We have capable teacher. We have bilingual teacher who can teach them Mandarin or English. So what's the reason you choose someone else, like a newcomer, and who don't know your kids, and you just drop them in for what reason? I really want to know this. Thank you.
Any other?
I don't think so.
Okay, moving to the next items for consent. We've got approved minutes from the regular meeting of the IA Board of Directors on January 28, 2025, and approved the personnel report. Recommend the Board of Directors approve consent items A and B. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Felipe. Happy to second. I will do roll call vote. Molly,
Yes.
Felipe,
Yes.
I'm a yes. David, not present. Miller,
Yes.
thank you. It passes. Items for presentation. First item, PTO fundraiser update. Kendra Chow.
Put your presentation up. Mom. I stand right here, is that all right?
Yep.
And you can hear me, right? Okay, probably. Oh, okay, I don't need it.
That's
As long
how
as
it'll
it's all
show up
right.
on the recording.
Oh, so it shows up on the.
Here, thank you.
They can hear you on the recording, yeah. And the Zoom. yeah.
Let me, okay. Okay, if you want to, you can click if you want to, or Grant can click for you.
Thank you.
I'll volunteer. Thank you.
So thank you again for having me. The honor to be able to present to you. My name is Kendra Chow. I have 2 kids here at IIA, and I am this year's PTO fundraising chair. So presented right in front of you is In May We Dance with IIA, which is our largest fundraiser of the year. It will be held on May 2nd at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Great Park Hangar. Next slide, please. So when you think about IIA and what you love about the school, 3 things that come to my mind. The first is community, the second is creativity, and the third is fun. And that's all that we have planned within this fundraiser. So the Great Park venue, we have 3 different sites that are all close together. The first is the hangar, the second is the promenade, and then the third is the palm court. This entire space can contain 1,000 people. Next slide, please. I'm going to go ahead and talk about all of the complimentary activities before I get into the meat of our big activities and our fundraiser. So surrounding the Great Park, we have, of course, the carousel, which is complimentary to anyone that's in attendance and of course the public. And then the second is our jungle gym area that's located nearby. Going back to community, we have an amazing community of people that are part of the PTO and part of the school that are helping us host this event. So when we're talking through all the creative ideas, we are having a big dance party. So we have a volunteer DJ. We will be having dance competitions. We have a dance instruction. And then to that, we also have a number of games, everything from a basketball arcade to, tinsel, hair things and crafts, and then a big Jenga set. So think of just all of these fun activities for the kids to do. On top of, Lazy Dog is coming and is going to be handing out free samples for our attendees. And then we have a number of food trucks who will be there serving food and drink to our guests. Tickets are $40 a person. One thing to note is that we are selling early bird tickets right now. So early bird tickets up until April 1st, it's a $40 ticket per person and $55 with a meal. After April 1st, it will be going up by $10. So everybody get your ticket right now. Next slide, please. So I'm going to go on to how you, the board, can help us and those that are listening today. The first is sponsorships. So after this presentation, I'll be passing out sponsorship packets. Sponsorships range from $1,000 to $10,000. This is such a great way to hit the community aspect. What we're doing is we're inviting everyone into that of IIA story. Sponsorships have also great benefits, marketing benefits included are a listing on our website, to a posting and ad posting within our newsletter, to having our name read at the event itself. So tickets are included within the sponsorship commitment. The second, which I've already talked about, individual tickets. Given that our venue can accommodate 1,000 people, the more, the merrier. We want you to go ahead and sell to neighbors, friends, relatives. We want everybody there participating in our dance party. And then the third, of course, are donations. So donations, the funding will go to support, as you guys know, that of PTO efforts, everything from supporting special events such as our Mid-Autumn Festival, to library improvements, to that of teacher and student resourcing. All of these funds are collected through these specific ways: sponsorships, individual tickets, and donations. So an ask to the board is also for you to consider those in your Rolodex. We are trying to go after a great number of sponsorships. We'd love it if you can pitch 7 to 10 people that are a sponsorship opportunity and really invite them into IIA story. So we've had some really great wins already. I've already invited city council members, and those that have already committed and have calendared are Mayor Larry Agron, Vice Mayor James Mai, Council Member William Go, and Council Member Melinda Liu. They have all those 4 people have already calendared it and are planning at being on the event, on top of Superintendent BOE Dr. Bean. So we have a great attendance. We want to go ahead and spread our story. And if there is time, I'll leave it open to questions, if you have any.
Any questions?
So we have information on our website also, right?
Correct.
We do.
IAA's website as well as the
As
PTO
well as the
website.
PTO website.
Yes.
And then we're gonna have a competition for our classes
Thank you.
too.
Thank you. Yeah. So some great ideas through committee members is that we will be having a classroom competition. So the total amount raised through sponsorship and ticket sales will allow for the top 2 classes to receive a pizza party at end of year.
So with that on your tickets or donations, you'll want to add in
Yep.
who your
Our
student
teacher names.
teacher is, so that we can
Mhm.
tally those up, and those top raising classes can have a nice party to celebrate here before the party in May, when we all celebrate together.
Yes. Well, thank you very,
Thank you very much.
very,
Actually,
very
I have
much.
one more question
Yes.
for you. Who's the MC for the event?
I'm so glad that you asked that,
I thought-
Mr.
you
Felipe
didn't-
Delgado.
I didn't see it up there.
I think we'll need to stop this PowerPoint so we can have a headshot of our MC right here. Felipe will be emceeing our event.
You know, I see it as a good sign because actually the other day, Thursday, while I was out and about, I ran into somebody who went to the gala last year. And she mentioned to me how great, how she supports the school and all that. And we told her about this event and that we're gonna do the dance and that kind of thing, right? And I happened to mention to her, I said, oh, by the way, I'll be the MC. And as soon as I told her that, she said, I'm going.
Oh, there we
Go.
go.
She said, I'm
Well,
going.
we need
I'm buying
to
tickets."
put that into our
Right now.
marketing
So
materials.
I'm
right
just
now.
telling you, that you might want to add that in there.
I'm requesting a headshot right
There you
now
go.
so I can put
There you
that
go.
on.
Just saying, just saying.
Thank you.
And just a shout out to Kendra and the rest of the PTO for all of their amazing work organizing the fundraiser, and to Tiffany for all of the money and donations pieces of it. You guys are such a great support to IIA and I know how hard you guys have been working to put this on, your entire committee, team. So thank you all so much for everything that you are doing and you guys rock.
Yeah, the committee has been fantastic. So a huge round of applause to all of the parents that are helping out and participating. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you to the PTO for all that you do, and thank you for the gala committee. We're not calling it a gala, so what's our name for this? Our dance party? Or what?
Dance party. Pretty big dance.
Thank you all. Okay, moving on to the next item, school update, Mr. Schmidt.
All right, well, good evening. Been quite a busy day, so I'll kind of just jump right into it. So the first update I have is actually not on here because it actually took place today, and that was our Orange County Department of Education oversight visit. So we had them out today, and we're gonna get the actual report in May, but the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. They were very supportive and saw all the steps we've taken as a school for just the continual improvements and growth of the school. They gave us some couple minor recommendations for the future, which we'll work on, but overall it was a very good visit that involved presentations and walking through all the classrooms and interviewing teachers and staff. So it was a good experience. So want to give that initial feedback before we get the report in a couple months. With that being said, just some general updates around the school that's been going on. So I've been doing teacher observations. I finished those up this week, most of them this week. So it's 24 observations that include a pre-observation meeting and a post-observation meeting. So it does take up a lot of time, but it's something that is important just to help kind of support our staff. And just the thing I have to say is we do have an amazing teaching staff here. It's something that I conveyed to our ILT staff this afternoon during our lead team meeting. Is that at the end of the day, the schools are going to live and die with the teachers that we have. So we do have an amazing teaching staff, and my role is to come along and support them and just so that we can serve our students. So I want to kind of update on that. Also, we've been working on updates for next year. I know we've talked about classrooms and growth and staffing and scheduling. So we're going to be kind of working through all that over the next few weeks and months as we plan for the next school year. The good news is it's not coming in July. It's for myself. Now we have a lot more time to plan and kind of get the school year going. So we'll be ahead of the game in that regards. Another general update, we had our ELAC meeting last week it's our English Learners Advisory Council. And it's just a good progress and feedback for just a continual improvement for our ELD program. We have some parents, our parents are a part of that. And the goal is that as our schools grows, we're getting more EL students. I mean, that's what's happening. I believe right now we're up to 130, around 130. And so with that growing need in the school, we're going to continue just to have to work and develop that program. And so the ELAC is a good opportunity for parents to be a part of that, engage with us, and as we kind of work with that program. Now to turn completely different directions, our 4th and 5th grade and 6th grade boys are actually competing in the Irvine basketball tournament that starts on March 14th. Depending on how well they do, it goes to the March 16th. Our coaches are Coach K, and then Daniel Chow is our other coach. And you see them practicing. They're even when it's raining, they're practicing.
They were in here.
They
right,
were.
Brad?
I know. So they're dedicated. They're committed. So we're just excited about that. As we grow, we just want to provide more of those opportunities for our kids. So, and then just a general update about the school. Our student count is up to 537. Looking at next year, we have over 260 applications. We don't have that many spots, but I know as we kind of go through open enrollment, lottery, wait list, we'll work through that. But fortunately, we have a plan for next year in terms of rooms and space and availability. So that way, when we grow as a school, it's in a way that's manageable and it's sustainable. So that's some general school updates. Things coming up, we do have a parent workshop. I think I have that wrong. It's actually not the 26th, the 27th, so you can correct that. It's on our Apple assessments, and that's our new assessment for our Mandarin. For Mandarin, I should say, and it aligns with AP Mandarin, that program. And so really it's going to be a good opportunity for our students, for us to really measure their growth from year to year. You know, you think we have like CAFS testing for ELA, math, and then science. Apple would kind of be the equivalent for Mandarin. So that's a new component this year. And Ms. Zhang is going to be presenting on Thursday to kind of educate our families on what that involves. Next Thursday, we have our next school site council meeting. It's going to be focusing on the LCAP and kind of giving some input there. Also, along the same times, we've had our LCAP advisory meetings. We had our first one, and so we'll be having another one. I believe it's actually March 11th, if I'm not mistaken, right? March 11th. I should have put that on there, but that's March 11th. Now we'll be talking about our second goal. Then we have our coffee with the principal. It feels like we just had one, but this is the way the calendar worked out. We have it March 13th, and then our second trimester, if you can believe that or not, actually ends on March 14th. So with that, I'll kind of open up to questions and go from there.
Just wanted to say that a few of us had an opportunity to hear some of the feedback from the oversight visit, and it's very positive. Just wanted to say thank you to the team and executive director, to the principal, to all the staff that are here. Really some very, very positive comments and very, very wonderful to hear at this week. So thank you very much.
And also, I want to thank you for, I know doing the teacher observation is a huge task, and it's so wonderful to hear that our teachers are doing such a wonderful job. And so just thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
The other day, I had an opportunity to be in your office there, and there was an issue with one of the students and a disciplinary issue that they brought to you. And I have to tell you, you know, I saw you did a great job. You know, and if that's the quality of discipline or instruction that you're giving to our students, you know, that's great. So I personally got to see it firsthand, and yeah, I really appreciate you being there, being part of our school. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Miller, give you an opportunity to say anything if you'd like to. Next item, LCAP survey presentation. Dr.
Right, I'll jump down here. All right. So each year, as part of our LCAP, or local control and accountability plan process, we solicit feedback from our different stakeholder groups. This year, we put out a survey in December to not only our parents, but also added this year our staff, as well as our students in grades 4 through 8. So we got a lot of different feedback, a lot broader feedback this year regarding our LCAP goals, our school climate, academic achievement, just kind of all aspects of our school environment. And it was great to be able to go through. It's always great to be able to go through and really look at that data, see the areas of strength, areas where we may need to focus on. It really does provide a lot of feedback for us as a team to help us kind of guide where we are going in the future. We also have a great LCAP advisory committee. Anyone can join our LCAP advisory committee, but we have had our first meeting going over our goal 1, getting that feedback so that we can have an updated LCAP this year and updated each year so that it really reflects what we're actually doing as a school and where we're going as a school. So this year you can see our participation dramatically increased in our LCAP survey. So I want to thank all of our stakeholders for taking the time to fill out the survey. It is a rather long survey because we want to get a lot of information about different things, and it was great to see so much participation. So we had 95 parents participate, 28 staff members, and 155 students. So we captured really most of our 4th through 8th graders. And as valuable as staff and parent feedback is, we're really here for the kids. And so having their feedback, although sometimes a little wonky because they are 4th through 8th graders, so some of their comments are sometimes funny to read. But it really is valuable to get their feedback because they're the ones who all of this is actually really, affecting. So we want to make sure that we're getting their input whenever we're making decisions. So it's great that we were able to get so many of our students. The reason we do 4th through 8th grade is handing a kindergartner a Chromebook and asking them to fill out a survey, with a Likert scale. We're really not going to get any information, but we can get a lot of information. Our 4th graders to 8th graders are very mature. As we actually saw, we had some 5th graders touring our OCDE groups around today, and they were extremely professional, answering questions, guiding them, telling them which classes they were in, what they were looking at, translating Mandarin for our OCDE guests. So we really have very mature students who are able to provide a lot of great feedback on the survey.
Amy, so this participation for 24-25, so you say parents, is that individual parents or is that families?
They filled out a survey. If you had multiple students, then you filled out one survey for multiple students. So when we do the percentage for the LCAP, SciSci went through and figured out exactly how many families that was. So for the percentages, when we talk about that in the LCAP, it's the percentage of actual families. So not per student on the parent. So this would be 95 families. A lot of them have multiple students. They indicate that on their survey. So they fill it out and they indicate what grade levels of students that they have.
But even with 95, let's say families, right? I mean, that's not how many families do we estimate that we have?
It's still a low percentage. I would love
Yeah.
to have a bigger
I mean, I would,
participation. I think we have about 350 families. So it's still not it's better than it was, but it's still not great. I would
Yeah.
still love to have more people participate in that survey.
yeah, it's certainly, well, it's certainly better than last year, but.
We're getting better, but I would
we're
love to
getting
get to more like 80%, 90%.
Yeah, because it can't really be reflective of the entire school, right?
Yeah.
And actually, I think we need to have like a drive to have the parents participate, right? Maybe maybe at the coffee with the principal and anywhere where we get them in a group, we need to tell them how important it is to get this feedback. Because this is pretty low,
Yeah.
but not as low as last year.
We're
but-
getting better, so hopefully we continue to improve, maybe
Right.
jump up even more
It
next
only
year.
makes the school better because it gets the flex of what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would love to see 90% participation in the
That
future.
would be, I would estimate that would be closer to about 180. Somewhere in families.
Well, we have about 350 families, so that would be more like 320.
Is that what they're estimating?
I think it's about 350. I don't have the exact number. SciSci calculated it, and when I did the LCAP update last month, we actually did the percentage in the LCAP mid-year update. I can't remember exactly what that percentage is, but it was low.
Definitely. So,
Yeah.
I forgot what we did for like the gallon, because we did estimates, the first year and second year based on our calculation of how many families we are. So I'm rather surprised to see how
Yeah, SciSci went through actually one day and calculated for both last year and this year, the exact number of families we had based on.
You know, that's funny. That's the same person I used. for the
It's odd. It's
Yeah.
very strange.
Yeah.
It's very strange that we use the same person. So there were a couple of changes to the survey from this year. One, we used more of a Likert scale. Last year, there was a lot of just agree, disagree. This year, we used more of a, strongly agree, down to strongly disagree, just to give people kind of a wider range. And when we did our comparisons to last year, it gives us a little bit more information to have than just having an agree, disagree, because a lot of people just put agree, even if they're sort of neither or. But this way, they actually are able to kind of rate on a scale. Also, the addition of the staff and student surveys. To Felipe's point, we do have kind of a low parent participation. So being able to add those extra voices in, give us a lot more information by adding in the staff and students. We did add a lot of additional questions. Our survey, sorry for giving you a longer survey, but our survey was quite a bit longer this year than it was last year. Adding in some questions regarding communication, culture, climate, academics, and really tying in the questions to our actual LCAP goals, so that they really do inform what we're putting in our LCAP, and then also so that it can better inform our LCAP, but also give us information a little bit earlier so we can tweak things throughout the year earlier. The staff survey the survey was given earlier in the year. Last year it was given in March. This year we gave it in December, and have actually been able to use some of that feedback from the survey already this year, instead of it really just informing the following year. So those are some of the changes that we made. Now I'm going to kill you guys with graphs, but I'm going to have a little summary of this. I just wanted to make sure that we had the information, visible from the different questions. Then I'll break it down in a later slide. But some of the questions that we asked in our academic programs, does my school have high expectations for student achievement? Provide effective Mandarin instruction. I know when Grant and I first got here, and even in talking with the OCDE group this morning, one of the biggest things that were brought to us was that we really needed to work on improving our Mandarin program. So we've really worked hard, and in fact, OCDE had a lot of recommendations last year regarding our Mandarin program. This year, they did not have a single recommendation for our Mandarin program. It was all they were very impressed with all the progress that we've made and all of the things that we're putting in place. So that was nice to hear. And it's also nice to see on our survey that, so this is one of those, as I'm going to talk about it, there's also, it's interesting when you give a survey to 3 different groups to see where there are similarities in their answers and differences in their answers. The Mandarin instruction one is a very obvious one, and you'll see going through. The students did not rate Mandarin instruction as being high. The staff and parents did rate it as one of the highest. So as we go through, you'll kind of see, and that's something that we want to look at as a staff. If our staff and our parents and OCDE and we're putting all of these programs in place to increase the effectiveness of our Mandarin program, what can we do to ensure that our students are also seeing those benefits and are also feeling that our Mandarin program is effective, because that is one of the places where there was a discrepancy. So like I said, that does provide us with good feedback that we can then go back and kind of look at why those disparities are there. But then you can look, and again, this is the student survey. So we also ask questions about, my school provides programs that build character. We have positive rewards programs, and you can kind of see where the colors are there. So again, I'm going to break these down. So this is just kind of give you an overview so you can just kind of see where everything is at. Definitely very high use of technology. You can see another one is very high expectations. My teachers expect me to do my best. Pretty much all of the students agreed with that, except for, just a very few. And then it goes into things like encourage me to behave properly, which was also pretty high. Help me when I'm upset was one that was, kind of more in the middle. So that's something that we can work with our staff on to make sure that our students feel like they're being heard if they're having an issue here on campus. And then going in again to climate and engagement, very high for, safe place to go to school, positive learning environment. One thing, taking bullying seriously, that is something that we're looking at providing some more anti-bullying curriculum to work on that, to make sure that students are feeling like any issues that they're having on campus are being taken seriously. And then it is nice to see our students want to do well in school. They come to class prepared. Again, these are 4th through 8th graders. So when you say I like going to school, well, that one's kind of that one can be kind of a hit or miss. I care about my school. Those you are asking, 10, 12-year-olds. So, but we do want to try to increase those numbers. We want to make sure that kids are feeling like they want to come to school and like they care about their school.
Just at the end of the day, trying to get them to leave.
I
That's a good sign, right? They won't even leave.
know,
They won't go home.
they
I'm
don't
assuming
want,
that's 'cause they won't.
they don't want to go to school, but they also don't
wanna go.
want to go home either.
I know.
So then you can just see, good to see, our students do have friends at school. Other students respect me. We're talking about kids, but that's part of that character education, looking at anti-bullying curriculum, social emotional learning curriculum, things like that. So from this, it is, things that we're taking away are areas that we need to look at and make sure that we continue to improve these areas. So just like a little breakdown, some areas of strength. Our students do have connections at school. They have connections with adults. They have connections with other students. Our students feel like they're encouraged to do well, achieve high academically. They're encouraged to do well and are rewarded for their positive behavior. So not only are they encouraged to do well academically, but also to do well behaviorally. They feel school is a positive place, and they feel that they're provided necessary supports. Some areas of consideration, again, for students, which then we'll look at some of the other groups, and some of these are different. Mandarin instruction, character education, bullying prevention, trusted teachers and staff, and then, that question of whether students like going to school was low. So we want to work on bribing them to say they like coming to school more. More pizza parties. Moving on to our staff. Our staff was, which is good to see, our staff was overwhelmingly incredibly positive. You can tell our staff loves being here. They love the kids. They love teaching. And so the staff survey was probably one of the most positive staff responses I've seen in my past. So it was really nice to see. Looking at how effectively instruction provides critical thinking, collaboration, communication, problem solving, just all of these different areas. Really high also in providing multilingualism. So our staff really values that Mandarin instruction. Then having to do with academic,
And the staff one, so we have 28 people participate. Is that just the teachers?
No, it was all
So
staff. So it's
everybody-
about half of our staff participated. So next year, we're gonna force them to do it at a staff meeting, so we get 100%.
Get tied to their paycheck.
Grant's gonna do it during their evaluation.
Yeah, there we go.
So you can see academic progress really high across the board, high expectations, similar to the student responses. Everyone feels we have really high expectations for our students. You can see here, provides effective Mandarin instruction. much higher than the student response. When we look at the parent response, it's also going to be much higher. And then you can look at the supports down at the bottom. So pretty positive in terms of all of the supports that we're providing students. But looking into the future, you know, we are going to try to add some of those places where people are feeling like we aren't providing as much support. Then climate and culture, super positive here. Encouraging students feel like they belong, have relationships. Students are respected by their peers and staff, and our teachers. So, you know, from our staff point of view, very positive in terms of school climate and culture. And then certain groups got different questions. So our staff got questions about their work environment as well, what it's like to work here at IIA, making sure that our teachers are credentialed, that we're recruiting high quality staff, retaining our staff, and then really providing opportunity for staff input, collaboration, and that we have a positive work environment. So it's good to see that, you know, our staff thinks that this is a positive, good place to work. So areas of strength, positive about the work environment, high academic achievement, safe, positive learning environment, good communication. Some areas for consideration. It was kind of rated a little bit lower by the staff for, you know, ability or providing project-based learning and student choice. And then again, looking at our different supports that we're providing and making sure that we're providing necessary support so that our students are successful. And last but not least, parent guardian survey. Again, very positive responses from our parent group. So looking at how we effectively promote these different areas, you know, pretty much across the board, you know, very effectively for critical thinking, collaboration, communication, just building these skills in our students. How satisfied you are with your child's experience in these different areas. English and Mandarin instruction, again, when you look at this and the staff, super high in terms of how people feel like their students are being educated and the programs that they're participating in. And then, you know, kind of looking at music instruction, I know we started a little bit later in the year. So we are definitely, you know, CD's in there now, and we're really trying to build our music program. And then same thing, you know, we'll kind of look at our STEAM and our PE programs because there was, you know, kind of a little bit more moderately effective there. So, so good data to take about our different classes. Then as far as expectations for students, again, oops, I'm on the same slide. Flipping forward. Oh, it was 2 slides? Never mind. Okay. Oh, never mind. Oh, so this is again with the supports. So providing supports, academic supports, building character. You know, a little bit more, neither agree or disagree. You know, some parents may not know what we have, what we're providing in these different areas. So I think that kind of tells us that maybe we need to provide some more communication so that parents, you know, have more information, to have an opinion about these things. But all of our high expectations, academic achievement, all of those very high for our students or for our parents. And then climate and culture, again, very high about, you know, I mean, we do like Mr. Schmitter said, we have amazing teachers and staff here. And that's reflected in really the high, you know, the really positive feedback from our parents about our teachers, our instruction, that we have a very safe place for our students. It's a positive learning environment, an engaging learning environment here on campus. So, and that again is really attributed to the amazing staff that we have here providing all of those experiences for our students. And then for communication, definitely, a lot of agrees for providing parents opportunities for input, involvement, parent education, parent communication. But then, for that communication, like I said, also maybe providing more communication about some of the different programs and things that we have going on to make sure that parents have an understanding and are able to voice their opinions about some of our different things that we have going on. So strength, Mandarin instruction, learning environment, high expectations, parent education and involvement. Areas for consideration, more enrichment opportunities. I know one of the areas was, facilities. We have, actually, I have to say, even though this building is not perfect, but compared to the facilities that most charter schools receive from school districts, this is miles above most of them. And so, and Irvine is very responsive and really has been working with us well for any facilities issues we have. Schools are old, so there are some issues that we have, but we have been working really hard to remedy any facilities issues, and Mario and his team have been working really hard to make sure that those facilities issues are taken care of. And then just, like I said about the communication, just making sure that we're providing as much communication as possible. And then just looking into our PE and STEAM instruction and ways that we can possibly improve those different programs. I think. So then in kind of looking at some general comparisons to last year, like I said, last year there was a lot of agree, disagree questions, and then a few Likert scale questions mixed in. So it was kind of a mix of different things. Academic achievement, you can see as far as the number of people that actually agree that we have high academic achievement has gone up quite a bit from last year. Engagement has gone down from last year. So that's something that we'll want to take a look at why that has changed. It could be, even a little bit with having so many more, like twice as many responses. So some of that, but we do want to take a look at why engagement is a little bit lower. Positive environment has remained pretty much the same. Facilities condition, like I brought up, has gone down a little bit. So we really want to make sure that we're addressing any concerns that we have. Preparation for high school, the agree has gone down, but then the disagree has also actually gone down. So that's where that having the Likert scale makes the comparison a little bit more awkward, because there was, a big chunk that may have just put agree last year, but this year have put more of a neither agree or disagree. And then that's school safety has gone down a little bit. So like I said, with those supports, bullying curriculum, character curriculum, we're going to look at that. And then Mandarin has actually improved from, well, it's kind of both. We have more agrees. Last year we had more in the middle, and then this year we have more disagrees. So it's a little bit more polarized for the Mandarin than it was last year. So again, it's great to have so much involvement in our process and our goal setting. Hopefully we can get even more involvement. And, please feel free to join us for our next LCAP advisory meeting, which will be March 11th at 3:30 p.m. here. And like I said, everybody is welcome to attend, provide feedback, and be part of that process for determining our goals, our actions, our expenditures for next year. Any questions? comments, questions?
I have comments. You know, what a surprise, right? So, you know, I think what really has to be factored in here is we have almost double the students we did last year, right? And so a lot more opinions, a lot of first timers, right, showing up, you know, so that same I'm gonna call it expectation, then they see what they really get, be a little bit different there. You know, as far as facilities concerned, you know, Mario is a great addition, right? You know, I've seen him multiple times. Follow up with issues with IUSD, you know, he's right on top of it. There's that feedback loop. And he closes it, right? And I've seen that. So that's a big improvement through the last couple of years that we've had. You know, we've always kind of got lost. We have issues, they don't get fixed, things like that. I don't think people realize just how
No, Mario is
terrible they were last year.
on top of it.
Yeah.
I mean, even with our facilities visit, I had a question about the restrooms and IUSD's response, and he was able to, you know, give the oversight committee an answer and talk about how he's been following up with them. So he's been a great addition.
Yeah, and he adds to the discipline too.
And
you know.
I mean, he's out there all
And that's
day.
his role, right? To be part of that discipline. You get the bookends, you get Grant on one side, and you get Mario on the other.
Yep.
You know, that's exactly, that's what they need
Mhm.
to see. Right? I don't know how to take the survey. Get some of the information on here. You know, I like to see that, as you know, I want to see the Mandarin program definitely be the leading effort here in Irvine. So I see that in the parents' response and the teachers' response and the kids' response. Of course, they're gonna say that. You know, I don't know, that's kind of funny. That is a little funny, right? But isn't the Mandarin program, or I'm gonna say the 50% Mandarin instruction only up to 5th grade or something like
To
that?
5th grade, yeah,
Right?
to 5th
And so
grade.
your survey's from 4th to 8th,
Mhm.
right? So you're really only getting a piece of that.
Yeah, I mean, you're always just getting, you know,
Yeah.
your data is always, you know, a little bit
Yeah,
bit
it'd be
skewed on
fun
any.
there, especially coming from the kids. I think that's, you know, to be taken with things.
Yeah.
You know, especially since the other ends and our experience, you know, I don't know about you guys, but what I've seen from the Mandarin program improved dramatically.
Yeah,
You know, it's right on the track we want it to be.
yeah.
Right, so I don't know what to say about the students.
We always want to take a look anytime there's a discrepancy. I mean, sometimes it can be explained in other ways, or, you know, sometimes it's just skewed for whatever reason, but we always still want to take a look at that and see how we can, you know, how we can make it better.
So how do the results from this convert into action items for the following?
So part of it is, you know, looking at our LCAP for next year, but it's also things like I said, you know, looking at anti-bullying curriculum, looking at at additional character curriculum. I know we have character counts, but that's not really a full, you know, kind of comprehensive SEL curriculum. And so that's something that we've been talking about, is really looking at that for next year. And so, you know, just taking this data and looking at ways that we can use it to improve what we have. Also working with sharing different pieces with the staff so that they can be aware and they can put different things in place as well. So so it kind of goes all through the gamut of leadership, working staff, as well as just the overall community, using it to help inform our goals and actions for next year.
Thank you.
I'm just looking at the staff one. I can tell the positive feeling from the staff. I think it's just amazing. Same thing with the parents. The connection between, just like I think they mentioned about so many times about like a family. I can see the parents and teachers and the students are together.
Yeah, it's a very positive, connected place. And that's, I mean, I think we all feel it, but it's nice to see it reflected in hard data instead of just a feeling.
And I think it's so important from the teachers,
Mhm.
from the staff.
All right, any
Thank
other
you.
questions? Thank you.
Okay, next, we've got the financial update. Mr. Jones, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Thanks for joining.
Okay, let me flip it over to you, Delano, and I think I gave you share access already.
Yes, you did. I double checked already. We're good to go.
Awesome, there you go.
Awesome. Thank you. And good evening, everyone.
Howdy.
Awesome. Thank you. Hope you guys are all doing well, and lady as well. All righty. So we're looking at our financials through the month of January. And the beauty of doing this is that it will relate directly to the action item on the agenda, which is to approve the second interim financial report. And this is a good, if you will, 10,000-foot view of that information, as well as providing an update on where we are through the month of January. I'll dive in really quickly. In the month of January, we received 598,000 revenues. Our revenue limit was 370,000 federal dollars, or federal revenues, excuse me, were 14,162. Our other state revenues were 103,000, and then our local revenues of 109,000 in the month of January. Expenditures for the same time frame, same period, total of 638,000 expenditures. Roughly 64% of that related to salaries and benefits, 31% operational matters, another 4% for books and supplies, and another 1% for other outgo. Let's take a look at some of our year-to-date revenues. And again, this is looking at revenues through from July through January. Between that time frame, we've received 3 million in revenues. Roughly 72% of that 3 million related to our LCFF revenue limit sources, another 26,000, or just over 1% for federal dollars. And you will notice a trend here that the federal dollars are very slow trickling in. And we recently was approved to receive our title or categorical funds. But nonetheless, as you can see, federal revenues are a lot slower to trickle in than any others. Other state revenues of 521,000, or 17% of our 3,085,000, and our local revenues of 319,000 year to date, or roughly 10% of our total revenues year to date. On the expenditure side, 2,383,000, or roughly 63% of our 3.7 million in year-to-date expenditures were for salary and benefits. Another 9% in terms of books and supplies at 340,000. Our operational costs were 976,000 overall. Our total other outgo in terms of fees and interest was 67,000 total for the year. Let's take a look at where we were at this same period last year compared to where we are this year. Overall, our revenues are up roughly 51% compared to where we the same time frame last year. And enrollment, as a result of that, as you can see here, we are at 1,306,000 through January of 24, 2.2 million this year, so roughly 911,000 change in terms of dollars, or roughly a 70% turnaround there. Consequently, our federal revenues went down, and again, this was the one-time Title IV grant, the PCSGP that we had, so that's the reason why you're seeing more in 2024 than you're seeing currently now, so a difference there of about 56,000. And as we go through the year, we'll then catch up with our current year federal dollars, which should offset this amount significantly. Other state revenues, a small change there, about 9%. which is to be expected. 575 last year, we had 521,000 this year. Our local revenues, as I mentioned, most of this related to either PTO offsets for field trips, things like that, and also the one-time donations that we received at the early onset of the fiscal year. So our $237,000 difference compared to where we were last year. And as I mentioned, our overall revenues have increased roughly 51% through the same period last year, from the same period last year. On the expenditure side, overall, our expenditures have gone up just 14%, which is great. Our total expenditures this year of 3.7 million compared to 3.3 million for the same period last year. You can see here our total personnel expenditures, 21% increase over where they were last year. Our books and supplies program costs down roughly 7%. Our operational costs were up 31% compared to the same period last year. Other outgo, obviously a huge significant change there of 71%. We're borrowing less or factoring less this year than we were last year. You can see that difference here in total. So roughly 14% increase overall, net increase from the same period last year. Let's take a look at our year-to-date budget compared without any of the graphs and charts here. As I mentioned, our $3,085,000 in revenues received. I did update the second interim budget to capture updated revenues. Most on the federal side, we increased that roughly by 80,000 compared to our first interim budget from back in December. $26,000 increase in other state revenues as well. And obviously, our local revenues, as I mentioned here, 319th approved budget. So our second interim budget looks a lot more positive in terms of overall revenues, a total of 320,000 increase. Subsequently, I did make some adjustments on the expenditure side as well. Our certificated salaries went down just by 25%. I'm sorry, $25,000, not 25%. Our classified salaries, excuse me, we had an uptick there of about 199,000. And again, we're just updating the personnel costs based on the trends that we have through the month of January. Overall employee salaries and benefits went up 26,000 from 1,092,000 to 1.1 million. Our books and supplies went down just based on our trend here by 79,000, and our operational costs went up by 113,000. But overall, we recognize more revenues, as I mentioned. The difference here is roughly 235,000 between what we are projecting in terms of revenues versus the expenditures, which now bumps up our net income, our projected net income from 423,000 to 509,000. This is what we're estimating or projecting to have in terms of net income by the end of the fiscal year ending June. Let's take a look at our balance sheet really quickly, and this is where you can sort of see most of this coming to life. As I mentioned, if you take a look at where we were the same time last year in terms of total net assets, we're up 588,000. Most of that in our cash, and that's due to, again, a loan that we have on the books here as well, most of that, but then we add that liability back in here as well. Where the rubber really meets the road is right here in this line item. If you look at our change in net assets. So this year through January, we're have a deficit of 682,000 if you subtract our revenues from our expenditures. Same time frame last year, we were double that. We were 580,000 change. The other way, we were at a deficit of 1.2 million through January. So a huge turnaround here in terms of expenditures over revenues through January between 2024 and 2025. And you can see here our total net assets. Again, this is just where we are currently through January, $852,000 difference there, $2,087,000 last year. total net assets this year, still a deficit of 1,234,000. And I'll show you on the interim reports where we're projecting that to shake out at the end of the year. Let's take really a quick look at our cash, days cash on hand, roughly 53.52 days. You can see our total cash here in our various accounts, 307,000 in the treasury, 500,000. Again, this is all part of the same account structure here between these two. So 500,000 in the Cathay savings account, another 247,000 in our operating account, our checking account, for a total of 1,055,000. Last year at the same time we had roughly 499,370. So our turnaround in terms of positive cash by $556,000. Overall, the school is on track. And again, as I mentioned, a deficit of 682,000 through January. But that will obviously turn around if we recognize that net income that I'm projecting of roughly $509,000. I'll pause and take any questions if there are any. If not, I can certainly jump into the second interim if you so choose.
We got a real quick one for you, Delano.
Yes.
That actual income, the revenue that we're looking at there, it's coming slowly. I think I ask you this every year. When are we expecting to see that? In what month? February?
Our federal revenues?
Yeah. When are we expecting?
Yeah, so that is, it's not necessarily, there isn't really a set schedule. It's usually on a quarterly basis that we'll see those federal revenues. So say December, January. So roughly March or April, we'll start to see that first infusion of federal dollars. And I believe that total amount between the three categorical programs, Title I, II, and III, is roughly about 80,000. So we'll probably get through three there. So we'll probably get somewhere around 50,000 of that amount. And again, I'm just guesstimating here, but we should see that between March and April is where I'm anticipating it coming in.
We haven't received, this is the first year that we are receiving federal title funds. We didn't apply for it in the past. So that's actually a new funding source for us this year for that $80,000. So that was something that we haven't had in the past. Now we're just waiting for it to come in. And we actually, in our initial budget, did not budget that in for this year. So that's actually for this year kind of a bonus that was not actually added in because we hadn't, when we did the first budget before I got here, they hadn't applied for it yet. And then we applied for it in August. So that 80,000 is kind of an extra bonus for this year.
Yes, and most of what you're seeing in actuals for federal dollars here are really just from the lunch program. So that was about the only federal dollars we were receiving outside of the public charter schools grant that you see here. And to Amy's point, this 80,000 is new money or new revenues from our Title I, II, and Title III. And I think Mr. Schmitter referenced earlier that you do have quite a large or growing EL population, which will over time obviously generate more revenues, but obviously with more revenues will come more expenditures related to supporting that particular segment of your student population. All righty. Well, thank you for that question, and then we'll go ahead and share the second interim. You all have seen this before. I believe you all have, in December, if you recall, we presented the first interim report. And now this is the final interim report for the year. It's due March 15th. But being that the board meeting will be much later in the month of March, we did our best to get this here on this agenda. As I mentioned, you've seen most of the budget and the actuals in the January presentation. I'll just share with you the broader picture here with this in terms of where we were. As you can see, this report shows our preliminary budget. This was the budget that was approved back in June for the school. This budget is no longer valid. Then we had our first interim operating budget, which was approved back in December. And now we have our second interim budget here, which is reflected on that previous chart sheet that I showed you, with net income increasing from the 423,000 to the 509,000. I'll sort of show you that down here at the bottom there, versus where our second interim budget was. And then this was our original budget here in terms of what the surplus would have been. But again, those factors did not come to fruition. And obviously, as we get more information, we've updated this along the way. So overall, not much here in terms of a huge change. We were at 546 before in terms of our surplus or net income for the year. We're now estimating that will be roughly 509,000 based on the adjustments that were made overall. You can see our actual here as well. And as I mentioned, our deficit through January was 682,000. Again, these are just in various categories here in terms of restricted and unrestricted, how they've been broken out based upon the resources that are being used. Overall, our fund balance, and this is what I wanted to point out here, that we're projecting that by the end of June, all things being equal and come to fruition, we'll finish the year with just a small deficit. Our fund balance will be negative $42,003. And as we go into the out years, and I'll show you that really quickly, as we go into the out years, you will see that our net income obviously will increase over time. And then our fund balance, obviously, as I mentioned, this will be the end of June 2025. At the end of June 2026, obviously, these are just projections here. Our fund balance will come back to positive 1.2 million, but that's based on factors in terms of growth with enrollment, additional revenues and things like that we have projected here. And most of those, hopefully, if they come to fruition, we're looking at net income in 2026 of about 1.285 million, and then in 26-27 roughly 2,014,000. Again, these are just projections based upon enrollment projections forward. And estimated revenues, etc. So our fund balance should come back to positive in a huge way at the close of June 2026. Obviously, before that, it will start its way on that, but at the end of the year, we're projecting this. And again, these are just our projections based upon known information at this time. Cash flow wise, we're solid across the board. It hasn't been any borrowing. Obviously, we had the influx of the loan from Lend Donate in December. We've had some payments back to pay off our outstanding receivables. We have one more payment to make for them in the month of March. And I do believe Dr. Kernan has another, if you will, a line of credit that she's looking to establish in the month of March that will then provide about 1.3 million in operating cash. That should carry us, that's built in here, through the end of the fiscal year. So overall, our cash projection is solid, based upon obviously that 1.3 million line of credit coming to fruition.
Will be likely brought to the board for our March board meeting, unless we can get that going earlier, and then we may have to call a special board meeting just for that.
But it's possible that we might end this school year break even.
Pretty much break even.
I mean, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, $40,000, but
but-
we are projecting pretty conservatively. So it is likely that we will probably break even this year.
Mhm.
The line of credit will be a great way to start next year without having to sell any receivables because of that weird timing of when we get funded versus when we have to start paying salaries and, you know, getting ready for the school year. So, so that line of credit will help us with finishing off the rest of this year, but more importantly, it will help us going into next year without having to take those high interest loans for receivable sales, high cost receivable sales. And then just a quick thing, I know there was a pretty high projection in that 2 years out column. Don't use that projection. We were projecting a much higher enrollment than this school will have capacity for. And we don't project out for additional schools. So, so likely that will be a bit lower than is projected. So I just, yeah, I think it was closer to 3 million. So take that one with a grain of salt. We are projecting to be definitely building up a bigger cash reserve. But I just want to caution against using that last column because I think it projects that we will be at like 680 students. That's definitely more students than this facility can accommodate. And we, would never want to pack that many students into this facility. So, so likely our growth will sort of flatten out a little bit until, like we're talking about in our strategic planning sessions, when and if we open an additional campus. But even that would have a separate budget. So, so our projections for this campus are really kind of more flattening out after next year. But we still will have a positive operating income that will continue to build up those reserves.
Real pleasant surprise.
I want to see no red, no parentheses. Any additional questions for Delano? All right. Thank you, Delano.
Thank you, Delano.
Thank you, folks. It was great seeing you all.
You too. Okay, moving on, items for discussion and possible action. Item A here, approve the 2024-2025 second interim financial report. Each charter school shall annually prepare and submit interim reports to its chartering authority and the county superintendent of schools. Only to the county superintendent if the county board of education is the chartering authority. The second interim financial report shall reflect changes to the budget through January 31st. LCAP goal action, all goals, funding source, not applicable. Budget financial impact, not applicable. It's recommended the board of directors approve. Action item A. Any comments before we proceed?
Basically it's what Delano just went over.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the interim budget.
Felipe, is there a second? Molly, let's do roll call vote. Molly,
Yes.
Felipe,
Yes.
I'm a yes. David, not present. Miller,
Yes.
you're voting yes?
Yeah.
Can you confirm you're voting yes?
Yes,
Okay, thank
I
you.
confirm.
Okay, it passes. On to the next item B, approved contract with the YMCA to provide childcare services for the 2026 school year. The YMCA will provide before and after school paid childcare services at 2025-2026 school year. The YMCA will also provide services, including CK. Applicable for 2024-2025 LCAP funding source, ELOP, budget financial impact. YMCA will pay $1,000 per month for use of the facility. IA will pay $22 per day for students attending ELOP through the YMCA.
So, so we did some research on different, because we, as was discussed at our last meeting, have decided to take the ELOP program in-house, and kind of cover that ELOP enrichment, activities, interventions, with our own staff. We did some research because, with the program changing, we need to make sure that, we have a licensed after-school childcare provider, as well as just kind of, it's, it's been 3 years. We want to look and make sure that, you know, what providers that we're using, especially since we're changing the program, are meeting our needs of our families and our school. So after looking at our current program as well as several other programs that provide services in the area, looking at their offerings, the structure of their programs, as well as just their experience providing after-school programs, licensing requirements, things like that. We did select for your approval the YMCA. They do provide after-school childcare to the schools in Capital Unified, to several other charter schools in the area. We also looked at some other providers who provide childcare services in Irvine and Tustin, just to kind of get a comparison. We wanted to make sure that it was, since this is the paid program, that it was going to be kind of similar in cost to what parents are paying now. We also want to make sure that we're providing both before and after childcare services. I know, you know, I'm sure some of you guys have been here in the mornings. There's a lot of kids who get dropped off very, very, very early and then are just kind of hanging out. So we wanted to be able to provide that opportunity to families. And so this program would run from 6 a.m. To 6 p.m. So parents would have that opportunity to be able to enroll in the before school program as well as after school program. Like I said, we kind of looked at just, you know, being that this program will have to be a licensed childcare program and that licensing takes time, we wanted somebody with a lot of experience with that, you know, providing that licensed childcare. And then we went and visited the different programs just to kind of see what they look like, their structure, the different enrichment activities that they had. The YMC's program was very structured. They provided, you know, a very structured plan each day. The students were very engaged in different activities and very structured activities. So that was something that stood out with their program. Another program also provided that same structure, but they were much more expensive for our families. And so kind of comparing everything, we wanted to make sure that it was still affordable for our families who wanted to provide that childcare opportunity. We, again, will be taking ELOP in-house. I think I mentioned at the last meeting, the only caveat is the ELOP for the TKers during our regular school day. There's very few of them. I think we're projecting there to be, you know, 4 or 5 of them for next year. So it's a very small amount of students. But those students would then be serviced during the day along with the paid program by the YMCA, but then the rest of the free program for ELOP, which is actually our next agenda item, would be provided by IAA staff. So really, it was just kind of looking at in total all of the different programs in the area, from our current program through other areas or other programs that are established, and just kind of rating everything together.
So what I recall here is that this YMCA program is one part of the part of actually 3 parts.
Of the ELO,
Right.
part of the
So it reduced that childcare, I'm gonna call it childcare services role. We've reduced that because we're taking over the ELOP portion with our own instruction and our own teachers and stuff. No, that will be in-house.
Yeah.
And then the third part of that program is actually, or that direction is actually hiring the coordinator.
Yes.
Because the coordinator would be responsible for directing that program in-house. Actually, both.
Both, for directing that program in-house and also being liaison with our after-school childcare provider. And so, you know, part of that also is, you know, making sure that we do have that staff member, you know, who knows our families, knows our students, who can then coordinate with that outside provider to make sure that
that there's, you know, kind of seamless collaboration
Right.
between our staff and what the students are doing in that program.
So this is a big change from what we've been doing in the past. Huge change.
Huge change,
because
yeah.
Huge change because, and reduction in the childcare service that is part of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And most of it will be the ELOP program, which will be staffed by our
Mhm.
teachers in-house.
Yes, and we've
right?
had a huge, to your point, last time when we were talking about this,
Yeah.
and I was doing the presentation, we actually had a huge response, from our staff who are interested in doing the summer program and the after-school program. We're actually, currently, we would be overstaffed for the summer program, so we're gonna have to kind of come up with a selection process. for
Got a
that
lottery or
program.
something.
Because we have more people than we need for the summer program. So it's just nice to be able to see that our staff is really excited to be able to provide those supports and those programs for our students. And then, you know, that allows us to use our ELOP money, going directly towards our staff, but not diminish the ability for people to have a paid childcare option
Childcare option
after.
for those who need it,
For those
right?
who need it.
But a majority of it now will go under, what I see happening is that we'll be more in control of that program. Right?
Yeah, we
Because
can-
it's all in it.
And I think.
It's all ELOP money.
It's all ELOP money, and I think Grant talked about it a little bit at coffee with the principal, the last time. That was one of the big things that we've really been talking about is having that control of the program so that, you know, we can kind of tweak things as we go, if we see a necessity, especially, you know, with some of our intervention programs, our ELD, like we've been talking about, our ELD has really increased, so instead of just providing that during the school day, then we can provide ELD after school to students who need additional extra support in those areas. So not just enrichment, we can do our teachers are really excited about doing a lot of different, you know, clubs and things like that. But almost more importantly is being able to provide that targeted support to our students who need it in addition to the school day as well as before and after.
Absolutely. I think we're using our money more efficiently, right? That's what
Yeah.
it boils down to, right? And being more in control of it, right? Control of what's going on here at the school and using our own staff.
Yeah. And I'm, you know, kind of projecting a much smaller paid program. And so-
Reduction in the pay program.
Because many of our families really just want something that's a couple of days a week until, you know, 4:30. That's the feedback that we received from a lot of parents. So I think that it will vastly reduce the number of parents that are using the paid childcare and really just most of our students will be doing just that, the free, because this will allow us to open that free program to all students, you know, based on availability after we offer it to the ELP eligible students. So it'll provide a lot more free opportunities for all of our students to do
So-
different enrichment.
Right, and it'll be a summer program too.
We're
right?
doing a summer program as well.
I'm assuming the coordinator will be responsible for that also. right?
Yes, that's why
So-
you're approving the job description tonight,
So it's
so that we
ADC.
can apply that position so that they can start getting ready for the summer program.
It's ADC,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
For, that's what we're doing. We're just cleaning, we're fixing the whole thing. I shouldn't say fixing, but we're changing the whole
We're
thing.
changing,
The whole thing.
yeah,
Talked
just
about-
more in-house.
And also for the, like a spring break thing.
So for the childcare, it will be year round, except for just, you know, federal holidays. So they'll provide through winter break, spring break, Thanksgiving break. And then this year, because of the licensing does usually take 4 to 6 months. That's why we're trying to start really early. So it will just be our summer program for this year. But moving forward, every summer after this, instead of just having the 30 days of ELOP, there will be a summer program for the a paid summer program for the entire summer, for any families who need that. So it would be for the entire 3 months of the summer as that paid program, and then the 30-day ELOP program provided by us just for the 30 days.
Go ahead.
I just have a question. It mentions the budget financial impact, YMCA will pay $1,000 per month.
It's actually, and I actually crossed that out, it's
600,
600
right?
per month.
Okay.
Yeah, we started out at 1,000 and then, we actually talked about, right now, we're only projecting there to be 4 or 5 ELOP per day students. They are talking about actually lowering that $22, once we have final projections of exactly how many students will participate. But then in looking at the fact that they really are going to mostly be using one portable, we lowered that down from 1,000 to 600, just kind of looking at custodial costs and things like that. So thank you for catching that. I actually wrote it down, but forgot to mention it.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Regardless of how the vote goes, I do have something to tell you or say to you. Okay, so it's recommended the board of directors approve this action item B. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept item B.
Thank you, Felipe, is there a second? Very much. We'll do a roll call vote. Molly,
Yes.
Felipe,
Yes.
yes. David, not present. Miller,
Yes.
on this? Again, are you a yes vote?
Yes.
Okay. So it passes. But I did want to say, Adam, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because you really did help for school. We were left in a lurch year one, rushing to find something for the families for year two, and you guys stepped up, and we really appreciate it. So this is not anything other than what has been mentioned thus far. There's some opportunities for improvement for us as a school, and it's really what we can do to better serve our families. And we're grateful to you. Know a little bit about your past and what Chess has done for you and what you've been able to do for so many kids and the programs that you offer. So thank you for all that you do for enriching children's lives, and thank you for the joy that you bring. We really appreciate it, and we hope that you'll continue to be a partner to us in some way. I know that
And looking at some of the things that you do in other schools, I know, we worked with you even in my previous organization, providing chess and Lego and things like that. I want to, when we meet next week, I want to look at other opportunities where we can, keep you guys involved in IIA, if possible, and kind of doing what you guys, do so well in so many other schools with those different enrichment opportunities, to still be able to be part of our IA community.
Yeah, we love this school. We totally went in this for the right reasons. So definitely wanted to continue chess. A lot of kids are coming to our chess tournaments
Yeah.
now.
Absolutely.
It's been really cool. So
Yeah, so it'd be great to be able to keep some of those things going.
thank you. Okay, moving on to item C, approve the 2025 to 2028 Expanded Learning Opportunities Program, ELOP plan. The Expanded Learning Opportunities Program provides funding for after-school and summer school enrichment programs for kindergarten, including transitional kindergarten through sixth grade, as described in California Education Code, section 46120, amended by AB 181, AB 185.
You don't need to read all this.
SB 114, schools are required to update the plan every 3 years. LCAP goal action, goal 2.1, funding source, expanding learning opportunities program funding, budget, financial impact, approximately 237,000 from the 2025-2026 budget based on unduplicated student count. Any comments?
I think I kind of gave you guys most of the information about the plan at the last meeting, but really this is just the actual written out plan of what I presented last time. And just kind of how we're going to cover the summer school program, the after school program, and then the switch to the paid childcare
program, and how all of those are gonna meet our requirements under ELOP. So our funding is going up for next year from 180,000 this year to 237,000 next year. Like I said, our staff is really excited about the different opportunities that they're going to have. We actually talked about it again in ILT today. So they're very excited about it. And I know in Coffee with the Principal, our parents are getting very excited about it. So if you approve this, then, starting next week, we're going to send out invitations to those kids who are eligible under ELOP for the summer program. Figure out that response, and then we'll know how many spots we can open up for additional students. So we're gonna try to start early, so that we can, put out that information, get everything staffed, to make sure that everything is set up to start the summer program. And then as we get further on in the spring, we'll send out some interest surveys in terms of different enrichment opportunities that students would and families would like to see for next year, so that we can start planning those after school experiences out for next year as well.
When you say start planning for all this, is that Grant's responsibility? Is Grant the lead for this?
It's a shared responsibility right now until we bring on our coordinator. Then that person will take a bigger role in that planning. For right now, just to send out the interest surveys, we'll probably need more sending it out. I actually already have a spreadsheet of everybody, our initial eligibility, who will get a letter or a survey next week to fill out. But our goal is to, when we really start digging into it and doing, most of the planning for it, to hopefully have that coordinator
So,
in place.
right, and so the coordinator would answer to the principal?
Grant.
To Grant?
Yeah.
Right, so directly to Grant, so that would be,
It's
that's what,
site-based.
it's site-based, so that would be the
And a chain of
the
command.
chain,
of
right,
command would be-
between him and Grant, so, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, he'll work somewhat, he'll report to Grant, but also work really closely with Mario as well. With all of the facilities, supervision, activities.
As long as it's not you,
It's not me.
okay, and you'll take that the
Well,
way I meant
ultimately,
it,
it comes up to me.
but you understand what I'm getting
Report to
at.
Grant.
Next year, it's not gonna be you.
They report to Grant.
That's what I understand. So that he'll kick off that program and follow through with Grant.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I want. I'll make a motion to approve the item C,
Okay,
expanded learning,
okay,
the ELOP benefit.
happy to second. Do roll call vote, Molly,
Yes.
Felipe,
Yes,
I'm a yes, David. President Miller. Miller,
Yeah. Yes, I got it.
you a yes?
因为您的孩子，咱国的学习，
I'm here.
他说这个 Young Life 啊，我觉得
Yes.
挺好的一个，我跟他当 Young Life 合作很多，简单
It was
Young Life
broken,
现在
the message. Can you hear me?
他们主要是
You got it.
Thank you. All right, it passes. Moving on to the next up, we approve the campus and after-school program coordinator job description. New position will provide oversight and coordination of the expanded learning opportunities program, as well as provide supervision support throughout the regular school day, LCAP goal action, goal 1.2 and goal 2.1, funding source ELOP and general fund. Budget financial impact approximately 65,000, including salary and benefits.
So I think we talked a little bit about this. This is our coordinator position to coordinate the after-school program, but also so that it is a full 8-hour position. They'll have, help out with some supervision during the school day when the after-school program isn't going on. It'll be a 12-month position so that they can also cover the summer school position. So it does provide a good opportunity.
if some of our staff want to apply, we'll also post it outside. But, you know, provide a nice opportunity for somebody who wants that full-time, 12-month, benefited position.
The three-legged stool is the last part of it, right? Yeah, absolutely. I'll make a motion that we approve the campus and after-school program coordinator.
All right. All right. Okay, roll call vote, Molly,
Yes.
没错，跟我说了好几个。对啊，
David,
这发言非常精彩，我代表地主。
Miller, are you a yes?
欢迎来到啊，
Miller, can you hear me?
Yes, I respond yes or
We heard it. Thank you, Miller. Item E, approve the 2024-2025 plan. California Education Code, Section 32281. One requires every kindergarten through grade 12 school, public and public charter, community and court schools to develop and maintain a safety plan designed to address campus risks, prepare for emergency, create a safe, secure learning environment for students, and personnel. LCAP goal action goal 2.7, funding source not applicable, budget financial impact not applicable. Any comments?
So this is yearly, the board needs to approve the school safety plan. Mario has been working very hard to update our current plan, making sure that all of the required elements are in there, also getting feedback from our safety committee. I think it was brought to school site council as well for their feedback. So making sure that all our emergency procedures are up to date. We've added some different things in for this year that we've updated. So it's really just, you know, kind of an annual plan, but we update it every year. And I know Mario worked really hard to really kind of revamp it this year to make sure that everything was in there and everything was exactly how it actually is occurring and the different procedures that we have. Update staff names, things like that.
Okay, any questions?
You know, I did read through it and, yeah, it seems like he's customized it quite a bit.
Yes. Yeah, he
Looks
worked
great.
very hard on it.
I can imagine.
So I
was,
give him a
very
full
impressed.
compliment, very hard on it.
I was very impressed. Don't tell him I said that. Okay, yeah. I make a motion, we accept the comprehensive school safety plan. Item
Made a seconded.
人中龙凤啊，我
Yeah,
Yes, David. Present. Miller. Are you a yes or no abstain vote?
yes.
All right, thank you. I heard you. It passes. Moving forward.
real quick, just a comment. You know, I did notice the emergency procedure for the special needs children in there. So I was. glad to
Yes.
That was one of the updates that we
Was it?
actually
Oh.
added, yeah.
Yeah, glad to see that.
F, approve the facilities use agreement between IUSD and IA for the 2025-2026 school year. IA submitted a request for Prop 39 facilities for the 2025-2026 school year pursuant to Ed Code Section 47614 and Title 5 of the California Code of Regulations, Section 11969.1 through 11969.11 as amended. The proposed 2025-2026 charter facilities use agreement by and between Irvine Unified School District and Irvine International Academy includes the addition of 5 classrooms, 3 of which IA is already occupying, 2 new classrooms by IUSD.
哦，给你喝饭。
来来来，
再传下来，慢点。今天总量，
Funding source, general fund, budget, financial impact, expense, $482,827 from the 2025-2026 budget. Any comments?
So this, our current facilities use agreement, actually doesn't include the 3 additional classrooms that we got right at the beginning of this, that we negotiated in right at the beginning of this school year. As well as we're getting the last 2 classrooms, that are still occupied by IUSD. So this
current, facilities use agreement for next year will basically give us, use of the entire facility, which is very exciting. So now it will be just our IIA school, nobody else's. And it gives us those additional classrooms. One that we're going to license again for the after-school childcare program, and then it provides us with one additional classroom for our use. The classrooms, the two additional classrooms are actually very large classrooms. So we're likely going to put some of our middle school classes in there where they have a little bit of extra room, a little bit larger classrooms, a little bit of extra storage. So IUSD was very prompt in going through negotiations with us. And so it's nice that we're able to get this done very early instead of, so we can start our planning for next year, like Grant said, kind of planning our facilities and where our classrooms are going to be and everything for next year. So thank IUSD for getting everything done, getting through that negotiating process and being willing to accept our projected numbers without questioning them, and then provide us with the full facility now.
Okay, any questions or comments?
That's my dream come true here.
No.
It's now IIA only.
It's I only.
Okay.
Yeah.
To recommend the board of directors approve action item F. Is there a motion?
Yes.
Molly, is there a second?
I second.
Felipe, we'll do roll call vote. Molly,
Yes.
Felipe,
Yes.
a yes, David? Not
Right.
present.
Miller, yes.
Yes vote?
Okay.
All right, it passes. Moving on to the next item. Approve the board policy 6153 school sponsored trips. It's recommended board policy outlines the IIA policies and procedures regarding field trips, LCAP goal action, goal 2.4, funding source not applicable, budget, financial impact not applicable, board policy requirement recommended for schools participating in off-campus field trips.
So this is just providing a policy to codify our policies and procedures around the off-campus field trips. I think our middle schoolers just got back to Disneyland. Saw Rain walk in. So, just talking about how we handle transportation, parent pickup, just all of those things, just to make sure that everybody is on the same page. And we have a board policy regarding this after off-campus trips.
I noticed that depending on which teacher you talk to, it's a little bit different.
Yes.
Right? Everybody has kind of a different.
So we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, and that, the board is aware of our procedures. If anybody asks, we can provide that policy. It'll be posted online. So everybody's on the same page about field trips.
Well, I make a motion, we accept the school sponsored trip.
Okay. We have a
Item
motion.
G.
Thank you, Molly. We'll do roll call vote. Molly,
Yes.
Felipe?
Yes.
A yes, David? Representative Miller?
Yes.
真混的吃党了。
Yes.
不知道。
Thank you. It passes. Moving on, executive director's report.
Again, I talked a lot, so I'll keep it brief, but I just want to say what a wonderful oversight visit we had today. Thank you to Brett and Molly for being our board representatives on that. The oversight committee had nothing but wonderful things to say about our school, our staff, our students, all of the improvements that we continue to make, year after year. Some of the people on the visiting committee have been here since the very beginning, and have been coming to those oversight visits each time. So it's nice to be able to get their feedback because they've been able to see that change and that growth that IA has done over the last couple of years. So it was a wonderful visit, wonderful to have somebody from the outside affirm, I think, what we all know about the school. It's just great to hear other people brag about the school and how great everything is going. We'll receive the official report back from them in May. And so I'll share that with the board when we get that official report. But I know you two were on our debrief at the end, and it was
just, wonderful to hear all of the great things that their team had to say about our school. Just, keeping everything going, and my grad said we're almost at the end of second trimester. So we're moving through the school year pretty fast, and we're getting kind of ramping up testing. Ms. Brown has been doing a lot of training on our staff for all of the LPAC testing. We're gonna start doing CAS testing coming up here in the spring. Yay, Raven. And you even haven't, it's gonna be super fun. And then, actually, this Friday, we're gonna be doing gate testing, for our first time for our, 3rd and 4th grade students. So, excited to start that. And then, Apple testing, we're gonna be going over that with parents. So lots of assessments coming up, but, as always, that really provides good data for us to be able to, continue to improve programs.
Thank you very much.
I know.
Okay, directors, reports, anybody?
Well, I echo what Dr. Kernan said. Today it was just with the oversight visit. It was just, from outside people to praise our school or this IIA family, just we're just so proud of the kids, so proud of the staff, the teachers. A lot's going on, a lot of good news. The survey came out, also gave us an idea of how everyone's thinking about the school. It's positive, and I feel like we're actually looking forward to the next year. I know time flies, can't believe it's
Planning for next year.
so, but it's all good because we're excited, forward to, we have a wonderful, there's a lot of things implemented lately, and updated the policy. There's just tons of it. So thank you for all the people that participate in these words. There's so much. We're here just to enjoy and listen and learning from each one of you. So I appreciate the leadership of Dr. Kernan and Ren and all the staff and all the teachers, parents for their support. So yeah, thank you.
Me? Okay, it's easy. Raymond, get up here and pick up that microphone right there. See that microphone right there?
Yeah.
Pick up, can you talk into it?
Hello. Yeah.
Okay. So where were you all day today?
Disneyland.
Yeah, interesting curriculum we have here at the school. Right? You're at Disneyland all day, right? So I want to ask you, what is the Chinese component for going to Disneyland? What did you learn about Chinese at Disneyland? Exactly, exactly. Okay, so let me back up. That wasn't the purpose of this trip, right? What was the purpose of this trip? Why did you guys go? Other than to have a good time with your friends? Well, you went part of the what?
Well, one of the reasons was education, because there's this imagination camp that we had to do. 8th graders did
That
physics.
you got to do.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Eighth graders did the physics camp. My 7th grade did the imagination engineering camp, and I don't remember what 6th grade did. But that also provided us a little bit of a learning experience on how Disneyland works and how they did its like engineering part, and it's because, yeah.
What was,
mostly that.
what was your favorite part?
Of the whole thing,
Yeah,
The trip.
just old.
the rides, my friends,
Which one?
Pirates of the Caribbean and
Right.
the Splash Mountain.
I see. Okay. Would you recommend it for the students next year?
Oh, yeah. All
Would you
day.
recommend it for 8th grade next
How
year?
about 8th grade?
8th grade next year, like
Yeah.
us.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
because you'll
that
be
would be
8th grade. So that would be you, yeah. How about a trip to DC?
Yes,
Mm.
yes, yes. Yes,
Maybe that-
because we'll be learning about that next year, about the
Oh, in
history.
eighth grade,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
American-
about the American history,
Yeah, so maybe like during the spring break or the,
spring break.
Usually spring break is a good,
Yeah.
good trip time.
yeah, interesting. Yeah, I
think-
suggest you.
Depends on how our scores get,
Okay.
all that stuff, the
Sounds like
financial.
a topic.
Well, there you go. Well, you got something.
But yes, I do hope that we can accomplish that.
Yeah, interesting. Well, if you put the idea in the right minds.
It
that
could
might
happen.
Right? Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to thank you, Dr. Kernan, because yeah, there are things that we hear and see as parents or that we may see when we interact with the school, with their teachers, but also to hear from OCD about how positive it is around here. And the word that I heard earlier today, once again, was family. And really, that starts at the top. So thank you for helping to encourage that and helping to drive us forward, keep us on track. I think every year we do get better. So thank you.
Keep getting better.
I think that ELOC program's gonna put us, continue that. Yeah, I think that's a good way.
Miller, did you have any comments?
Of course. Imagine a trip to China. That can be our future. For a full experience, to see the pen, to see the great. Those are the things that for what they are learning, experience. I thank you, Amy. You are ahead of the game, just making all this forward. And also, I thank you for the holistic development. Yeah, you are ahead. And then I congratulate you, and then also thank you for the board members, and then also thank you for all the staff keeping the school safe, steady, also making a place is the fun to start to the fun to be together, and really like to thank say my thanks, PTO. You are school that always stand behind, supporting and then helping. So making the school a safe place. So I really enjoy each listen to it, and the only regret is just always try to be there and then I couldn't make it. And I hope that I will see you month.
Thanks, Miller. I appreciate your comments. Okay, moving on to community input on non-agendized items. The public may make public comments. Do we have any public comments?
We do not, but I wanted to add one thing that we forgot. Next board or the April board meeting, I was going to see if we could switch the date to the 29th.
Yes.
Would everybody be, it's not on the agenda, but it's just a date change, so is everybody okay with changing the April meeting to the 29th from the 22nd, since it's listed down here? I just want to make sure.
It's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have
So we'll amend that.
The April board meeting will be April 29th instead of April 22nd. Okay, and no public comments?
No.
So moving to the next item, adjournments. Recommend the board adjourn the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors today, February 25th, 2025. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Felipe. Is there a second?
Yes. Second.
Give us a Miller, yeah, right, put Miller in there. Would you roll call Molly?
Yes.
Felipe?
Yes.
I'm a yes. David? Present.
I'm a yes.
Right, thank you. for Checking it out. Meeting adjourned at 9:02 p.m. Thank you for sitting in the board meeting.